and jump on to roll 20 and move. Let's see. Oh, gotta pull out my notebook. So as far as I recall, we had an issue with in the infirmary, and the issue is that someone who is not here at the moment decided to transport a. Oh, one sec. Okay, it happens occasionally. My mom had to bring me something, but basically, someone who is not here at the moment was asked to transport something, and it transported, and it's completely workable as far as anyone knows. However, a portion of it intersected with the bulkhead when it was transported and ruptured an EPS conduit, which sprayed some kind of particle accelerant, which did some other things that no one has figured out yet because nobody has done any scans yet. And two people have become engulfed in something akin to a radiation bubble. That would be Snowpaw, and outside in the corridor, because it intersected with the bulkhead, um, Soth Charon.
Yep.
Um, so who would like to do something first? At the moment, Snowpaw's consciousness, we'll call it, and Tanner, as well as Soth, are indisposed from their body and able to communicate with one another, but nobody else.
Oh, that's new.
Hmm.
I'm in
And
there too, actually.
Oh, you're in the
yes, and
subspace
Yeah,
realm? Okay.
yeah, because I was talking to Tanner whenever he was standing there. So
Okay. I thought it
that's
was
where I
just
was thinking
Snowpaw
what
and
to.
Soth, but that's fine.
okay,
More people
to like wave away people and say get away from me and so forth before he just like collapsed then and since then his consciousness has left his body. Is that what occurred?
as far as he's concerned, yes.
Okay. And what's the terrain, for want of a better word, like round him? Is he standing in a sort of a shadow version, as it were, of where he was, or is this completely different?
That plus he sees several greenish kind of glowing um undulating bubbles that are kind of moving slowly flow them yet. However, I mean, he can go and try and see what happens. But that's basically what he sees. He sees like a faded out version of his colleagues. However, they are moving extremely slow to the point of they're not moving at all. And even that is fading away. So eventually, he could assume that eventually he won't be able to see them at all.
Right, okay. And if he turns around and looks at where the med bay would normally be, because the explosion was behind him, is there a concentration of those green bubbles in that area?
At the moment, because the bulkhead that was intersected is so close to the entrance, the door is closed, and so yeah, he would have to walk through the door. However, that because there are two of these bubbles, one of which is a lot larger than the other and is kind of surrounded him, but it doesn't seem to have affected him. But they're basically so close together that he would have to basically try to. So it's like a bubble within a bubble. But he would try to have to get between those two bubbles and into the door. And as far as he knows, the door won't open for somebody in another dimension. So.
Okay, well, he doesn't know a huge amount about what's going on. He's not in the best position to know, but he can sort of put two and two together. He's not a complete moron. And there were talks about inverted subspace bubbles before, which have led to lots of this trouble. So he's thinking this might be related. Before he takes any further action, he's going to see if his equipment has come with him, If it has, he'll try to take scans from his end of things with whatever version of the tricorder has come with.
Um, the nothing has come with him. So when he looks down and sees like the faded out part of his body, he sees his tricorder there with it. And when he looks down at his consciousness, all he sees is what his mental image would project. So he would see himself in a uniform and a comm badge. If he tries to tap the comm badge, nothing happens.
Okay, well, and at the rate of fade, roughly how long does he think it'll be until the world around him is completely faded out?
Probably a matter of seconds.
Okay, I I am tempted to be rash and take action.
Well,
And
that's
to
always worked out before.
Exactly. He's an Andorian.
Yeah, that's
He's got
true.
to do it.
I don't know what Bellic's excuse for that was. He's a Vulcan. Well, he's only half Vulcan.
Yeah, and to try and the bubble. See what occurs. He's not just gonna like run at it and jump. It'll be a more
like
hesitant reach.
Kind of stick his hand. Okay.
See what happens. Yeah.
So when he tries to reach out of the bubble that he's currently in, it looks as if the bubble begins to fade as well, just like the people around him. Like it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
Or it doesn't exist to his eyesight. We'll say that.
Is there any? Yeah. Is there any sensation to his touch, like pain or a weird, fading sensation, or like a loss of awareness when he pulls his hand back as his fingers vanish?
As far as he's concerned, everything is normal except he just can't see any of the stuff that he knows is there, any of the people that he knows is there.
Okay, well, out of character, I need to pause for a moment, so it may be best for someone else to do something radical, unless you want to say, time pressure, decide now.
Well, there's going to be something like that at some point. But so Tanner, Snowpaw, and Grimlow, you are kind of in the same situation. When you look around, you see yourself in a bubble, and outside the bubble is a very faded version of reality. But very quickly, the other people that you could see begin to kind of disappear from your view.
Okay, I'm kind of sitting back on this one. People try to figure this out because I have no clue.
Tanner's there, but he's not coherent really, kind of drifting in and out of a dream state. I don't know if he can. He doesn't really rationalize what's. I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while.
All right. So neither Snowpaw nor Grimlow is gonna speak to Tanner. Is that what I'm hearing?
I talked to him last time.
All right. Where's Snowpaw? Don't we have? Oh, it looks like he's not in the chat.
Kind of looks. I'm not sure where Snowpaw is.
I thought he was here, but I guess I was mistaken. All right. All right. So Chortles, you were flying a shuttle to get towards the get to the infirmary. Your shuttle is here. Move that to the front. And the ensign, the assistant training instructor, is there. The hospital is here. Dax is running, or was running. If Dax doesn't show up, Dax will quickly find themselves not running. But what do you want to do in the shuttle? I believe you are heading towards the infirmary. Can you even hear me? Alright, so the green light is going off, but I don't hear anything. I think it was something
Same as
simple.
me.
Yeah, I think it was something same with Durlock. I think last time. Hmm.
What I learned last night is Discord and this interfere with one another. So if you have your Discord open, your voice in one of them won't work sometimes.
Huh. Well, I don't have my Discord open. I mean,
But for the person whose indicator is going green and nothing's coming up, that might be the situation.
yeah,
Was that me?
No, it's chortles.
yeah. Well, I'm just.
So you guys can hear me, correct?
Who's that?
Yes, we can, Grimlow.
Yeah, Grimlow. Okay.
All right, yeah. 'Cause I have Discord open,
Yeah.
but it is minimized.
And so does like most of you guys. So I don't know.
Yeah. But I have it down at the...
Yeah.
I'm not actively on it
And
right now.
it says.
So,
Well, let's go to back in the corridor. Z. You have Velik sees Velik and Corvinus and Runa. After Runa basically covers Karava from the radiation burst, you see Mr. Soth Charon has disappeared. Well, his body has fallen. You don't know where his consciousness is, but he has fallen and he can't get up. So,
Is the door open actually? Can we like see all of this? Or...
no, the door's still closed. After the explosion, the door pretty much it's not lockdown locked, like it's not impenetrable. But you'd have to put in an override code to get into it.
Right. Okay. So I assume. Oh yeah. So Velik had no issues last time, right?
I mean, other than his experience in his
the
quarters.
thing. Yeah. But I mean, as in like during the explosion, he had no problems whatsoever. He escaped, if I recall correctly, or not escaped, but he avoided the damage.
Yeah, the only person
the only
that
person in the
didn't
corridor
was
who was hit
Soth.
was Soth.
Yep.
Right. Okay. All right. I will look at Corvinus. I'll say, I think I just saw two of our cadets disappear out of vision. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened, but we should probably investigate.
I would have to agree.
All right, Corvinus, are you still standing by the door, like like you were guarding, like you were before?
Now, I was blown back from the. I actually jumped at the last. I actually did manage to jump out of the explosion at the last second.
Okay, so both of you are pretty, like in the middle of the corridor. You're pretty far away from the door. Okay.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Soth's body is still on the ground. But make an insight science check. Anybody who wants to, any of the three.
All right. I'll do it.
All right.
You all can do it. I mean, it's
Can
insight
I
check.
assist?
You all
Or
can
both
roll
of
your
us?
own. Yeah. Insight
Alright,
checks are
roll,
independent.
You can assist.
You all can roll. It's not, mental things don't really require assists. Unless it's like super
Well,
difficult.
speaking of mental, I mean, I have something going on in my head at the moment.
Yeah, well, you always have something. all of your characters always have something going on. All right, so difficulty was 1, so it's 2. You have 2 momentums. Do you want to spend those 2 to get rid of the complication, Runa? Matt?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so that was 2.
Yeah.
2 yeses. Unless anyone, decides speaks up against that, I'm
Oh,
gonna
no, go for it.
assume. All right. So all 3 of you can barely see the outline of a kind of like a one of those microwave heat waves emanating kind of in the vicinity of where Soth is. It looks like it's kind of sitting right on top of his unconscious body. It's got a greenish hue to it, and there's another similar one right in front of the door.
I will take my tricorder and see if it gets anything while I'm scanning.
All right, that'll be
And
Door.
okay. So both of you roll reason science difficulty 1.
Reason science difficulty 1I.
Oof.
I'm thinking, would quantum mechanics work in this case as a focus?
I would say so. Yeah, sure. It's all this is technobabble
Um,
anyway. Go ahead, Matt.
Can Runa? Is there a console nearby?
We can say there's one. It's a corridor. There probably is.
Runa's gonna walk up to the console and scan inside to see what's going on in, like.
Inside the sick bay.
Yeah.
All right. The reason, I guess science will be fine. I think it's more of a security issue, kind of like monitoring what's going on. But science is fine as just general sensor sweep. Wow. So yeah, you don't know.
Lovely.
Oh, this is not good.
Nobody knows anything, and you don't have awesome, and you don't have any momentum to get rid of that. So, Mr.
Yeah,
Velik,
throw it at me. I have it all.
I need you to roll a control security difficulty 3.
Oh, lovely.
At least you get a chance. I don't just throw you at it. I don't just throw it at you. Sure, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Deal.
Although if you do get another complication, I am just throwing it at you at this point, or throwing you at it. I don't know how it's supposed to be. All right, someone's messaging. How do I join voice chat? Click below in SFA
Did you roll?
auditorium.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll. I got the notification. So speaking of talents, right? Yes, I mean difficulty 3 and all that.
Sorry,
So
what
is
you
this
say?
some sort of a is this some sort of a mental intrusion?
No,
Or mental attack?
this is a combination of you realizing something and also avoiding it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right.
So, would composure help as a focus?
I doubt it. In this case, it's more of a. It doesn't matter how composed you are if you don't realize what's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. So investigation then.
Pardon me.
Let's
You're welcome. Control security. Tell you what, I'll give you 2 threats.
Awesome. Let me find a
Uh,
pen so I can write that down. Oh, I already have 12. Let's see. Yeah, 12. So I'm up to 14.
oh, does it matter if I give you 2?
What?
No,
Do you have
it
like a
doesn't.
limit? Or matter? Okay.
I'm confused, but okay.
And I'll buy 2 dice for that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna mute you since you're coughing. Just let me know when you're back, and I'll unmute you. Yeah, go ahead and roll whatever you're. Ooh. What'd I say it was? Difficulty
That
4? I said difficulty 4, right?
use your four.
Alright, so now someone is buzzing in the background. So if you're not actively speaking, just
It's-
please mute yourself. Or use push to talk. I know push to talk sucks on apps like these, but yeah, thank you.
I'll just mute myself for the time being, just if
Appreciate it.
when I need it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll know. So
If you're not
what was the?
talking, can you put?
Yeah, I already said that. What did I say? It was difficulty 3 or 4? I'm pretty sure I said it was
You said difficulty 4.
4.
3.
Okay, so you.
Oh,
Oh, 3?
I heard
Except
3.
3.
Okay, I think it's 3. So you get a momentum, so that's good. And you realize just as this bubble is coming towards you, inch by inch, extremely slowly, you just in time, and you kind of dodge out of the way before it touches you. Um, and if I remember correctly, your tricorder readings didn't bring up anything. So as far as your tricorder is concerned, there's nothing there. But your eyes are seeing a kind of greenish hue to that specific area, almost like it's a greenish bubble or something.
Right. Okay. So
Anything
I
else?
suppose I look at the other cadets and I'll say, make sure you stand far away from it. It almost got me. Uh, we don't know what it is, at least so far.
All right. Who
As
is?
a matter of interest,
Go ahead.
my own fatal curiosity, when they were taking scans of the anomalies, would they have also picked up scans of Soth's vitals, or is that something they would have to have independently gone for?
No, their tricorder would only detect your Soth's corporeal form lying on the ground.
So it wouldn't go like, yes, this thing has a heartbeat, or no, this thing does not have a heartbeat, or anything
No.
like that.
No, no.
Okay, cool.
You have to do a medicine roll for that.
Well, not only that, you're not even really there at that point in time. But yeah. So go ahead, Matt.
Will I be able to roll a medicine roll for to pick up how many people are in the sick bay?
To do like a basic life sign check, sure. Just do a reason medicine difficulty 0. Are you using tricorder or are you using a console?
Console.
Okay, difficulty all right. So
Difficulty what?
I'll just say 0. So you got 2 momentum. So yeah, you are detecting. Let's see. I have to actually count them. 1, 2, 3. You're detecting everybody that's supposed to be in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus like a couple of random people just lying on bio beds somewhere in the vicinity. What do you want to do with that information?
I'm gonna send it to the emergency team that is gonna be responding. Yeah. I'll
Oh
send
yeah,
it.
there is
I'll
an
keep
emergency.
it.
There is
Yeah.
there are security forces and engineers, and they're on their way. Um, so like, but what do you want to do in the meantime?
She's gonna make a. She's gonna tell them there are still people in there, but we can't get them out
Okay.
just yet.
I will go ahead and tell you for free that as you're doing your life sign scan, transport at this point in time after the accident is very much not something that you would want to try. It would be extremely difficult, and even if you succeeded, the likelihood of complication of trying to get through all the radiation would be, yeah, it would not be good. Um, all right, so let's bounce back into the academy. Or the infirmary. Um, the last thing Snowpaw and Grimlow you got, and Mr. Tanner, you see from the individuals that are moving around in reality is them just rushing to and fro, trying to use, like, you see the chief medical officer kneel down, um, and then he stops. He puts his hand forward and then stops and pulls it back really quick and then jumps back, and then everyone disappears from your view.
I think someone walked in, and yeah, he had to mute.
Someone walked in.
It actually looks like he's completely gone from the voice channel.
Oh, he's here.
What happened? What's
Oh,
going
there.
on?
Yeah. Sorry. I couldn't see that.
Uh,
Who was mute? Who are you
You
talking about,
muted
Matt?
yourself for about
Oh, I know. I
20
was
seconds.
waiting for someone to say something to
Oh.
do something, and I'm gonna do it right now again.
Oh, it seemed like you stopped speaking halfway through a sentence. So it was just like what?
Oh,
Yeah, that's exactly what it seemed like.
it was probably because I might have muted it right after I finished speaking, and it probably like does like Discord does, and just mutes it like a half second early or whatever. There's probably a lag or something. But anyway, yeah, whoever's in sick bay wants to do something, go ahead.
Yukina was going to try to move over to where she last remembered being to see if she could touch her mass or whether her arms actually came with her or not.
So the first thing Yukina notices as far as her physical body, similar to Soth, is the when she looks down, she sees her mechanical looking arms. However, they don't feel mechanical, like they don't really feel like anything. So like if she ever had any pain or anything with it, like she wouldn't really feel that. And if she touched her hand or arm, she would feel like a normal metal. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Or whatever the prosthetic is made out of.
So in this cover, she still has her arms. Okay. Do I see anybody else around?
You see Tanner and Snowpaw, or not Snowpaw, Grimlow, and the chief medical officer, the Commodore, and the nurse have faded out of your vision completely, and so is your physical body on the ground.
I'm trying to figure out what to do here because I have no tools. I don't know where I'm at. I don't see apparently anybody of use, which means I don't see anybody. So, essentially, I'm gonna call out to see if anybody's there.
All right. Who replies?
Why are you yelling? I'm right here. It's Grimlow, the other medical student that's here with you. I don't think we can communicate across the barrier.
I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is maybe try to interact with something or try to find our way out, but otherwise I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
they
kinda
got somebody out last time.
Well, yeah, I have a feeling
Most of
that
them.
hopefully they will be able to figure this out and get us out in a better way than what happened to Tanner here.
Speaking of Tanner,
Mumbles to himself.
I was about to say, what is he gonna say to that? All right.
Hey guys,
All right. So, Chortles, can you speak? Can you hear us? See, I see you actually, the thing light up, but I don't hear anything. All right. What about? I'm looking at the list to see. All right. I'm gonna go to Colin real quick, since Colin is the new cadet, and I'm gonna just randomly say that I'll let you decide. Do you want to be in the corridor, kind of, you just arrived and you happen upon this situation, or do you want to be outside, approaching in the general vicinity of the Academy Hospital? It's up to you how you want to engage with this situation, Mr. Colin.
I think that I can have happened down the corridor.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So yeah, um, there's an you see a cadet coming ahead of the engineering and security teams. You haven't really seen this cadet before. They've probably only been here for a few days. So how do you guys? What do you guys do? Let's see. I gotta look up his cadet because I don't
Runa
know.
will get it, stop him before they run it into whatever it is.
How
Oh,
close is
sorry,
this,
sorry. What's going on?
How close is this new individual?
Where there's
I would
emergency at the.
like to try to stop them as soon as possible and let her explain
Okay.
her character. That is.
Basically there's an emergency.
Okay. Is it a medical emergency?
It's an everything emergency right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a everything emergency right now, so I don't want you to go running into whatever it is because and pulling anyone out because there could be dire consequences by pulling somebody out.
Well, I don't like dire consequences. But
If
I'll
you're
stand by over here, and she sort of just leans against the corridor wall opposite where they're pushing her away from.
if you're a medical student, can you do some scans?
I suppose I could.
All right. So what kind of scans are you doing? What are you looking for?
Well, I guess I'll do a general medical life scan with my medical tricorder.
All right.
There's people on the floor here, right?
There's one Andorian male. Yes.
I will scan the Andorian male.
All right. That'll be reason medicine, difficulty 1.
Okay. And he is xenobiology, emergency medicine.
Yeah, sure. Either one of those. All right. So you're up to 3 momentum. He is unconscious. At least that's what the scan is revealing, and he seems to be in what's the word I'm looking for? Encased or surrounded by some sort of um, atmospheric disturbance that your tricorder is picking up, but isn't reading as like it's almost like an absence of space, um, but it's not reading it as any like it's not giving you any actual details about it. It's just saying he's trapped in something essentially. And that
And what do I get emotionally off him?
at this stage nothing. He is the tricorder is basically telling you he is in a coma and he cannot reciprocate with emotions or any not even thoughts. He is out completely.
This man seems to be in a coma. I'm not really that kind of doctor, so that's he's not emotionally available.
Speaking of emergencies, what brings you here? Shouldn't like the entire facility be aware of this right now at this point?
I was on my way to the infirmary to report for duty. I've been undergoing my cadet training off-world. Staff shortage
nothing
on my home colony.
and nothing was told of you for you of this.
Nope.
You were not warned. You were not warned involving an emergency.
Well, I thought it might be good in an emergency situation to report to the infirmary. I have been working as an emergency nurse for some time.
Well, I'm not sure how useful you could be here then, I suppose.
Can I
None
get
of us have been useful so far.
everyone to make a actually insight security roll, please? Difficulty 2. Oh,
Is that everybody, or is that just the people that are
sorry.
outside the bubble?
Yeah,
Where we are right
it's
now.
everybody in the corridor.
Right now.
Would composure
so
apply
in-
here?
Everyone in the corridor who's conscious. Yeah. No, the composure wouldn't work. What did I say? Difficulty 2? Yeah. So you're up to 5 momentum. Corvinus, you dodge as the bubble continues to come towards you. Mac, you notice it and make sure that you keep your distance as well.
Yeah, Hira, is trying to talk to you.
Huh? What'd you
He's
say?
trying to talk.
Who?
I think you may have muted him on your end.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Whoever muted him.
Go ahead.
Am I muted?
I got you. I hear you now. Mahani.
Okay, cool. So focus used no complication range 1, task roll 2.
Yes. So I had to think through what you were saying for a second.
And do I click the task roll button?
No, task rolls 2.
And click the button?
Yep. And what's your... Oh, you also are a counselor. Should be a cadet counselor, so make sure you change your rank when you get a chance. I'm moving your character sheet into medical cadets.
Okay,
Alright.
done.
Alright, so now I need you to make
You have a
a...
hallway full of therapists.
Now I need you to make a control con as you fail to notice in time that this bubble is approaching you as you're walking down the corridor. I thought I moved you to cadets, did I not? Oh, I did. I'm just looking at a whole nother thing. Alright, so everyone watches as... Once again, I have to open this damn folder. A cadet comes around a corner and without really paying attention to what's going on, walks into this kind of shimmering, barely visible field in front of you, and for a moment they're frozen. It looks like they're frozen in time as they're moving, and then their body just slumps forward.
Is there any way to sort of like instinctively react to sort of try and get her out before she gets into it?
Not really. That's kind of what the
Like,
roles are
we're
for.
standing there, right?
Yeah, but the roles are for you to first notice what's going on. If you don't notice it, and then for you to launch yourself across the corridor to tackle her out of the way, it's probably gonna be harder, but you can try. Let's see.
Or just tell her, like vocally, like from far away.
Well, the
"Hey,
thing
watch
is,
out,
the
there's-"
thing is, like, you can't see this. It's not like you're a softball is coming to your face. This is literally patches of radiation that you can barely see unless it's right in front of you. So you probably wouldn't have even. I mean, you barely noticed it, jumped out of the way, and then someone came around the corner, which you weren't expecting. So it doesn't really seem feasible that you would just, unless you guys start cordoning off the area and doing like, security stuff. There's going to be continuous people going throughout this corridor. The security and
So Rhiannon
engineering.
kind of laughs nervously and thanks the people for warning her, and then kind of moves a little bit back down the hallway where she came to stop people from coming.
Yeah, so the engineering and security and other most of the medical people are in the hospital, so they're already dealing with things. So most of the security people and engineering people have to come from outside the hospital. They're still on their way. Um, all right, so Miss, I gotta look the name up again. Muhani Ukai. I'm hoping that's how you say that. Mahani Ukai. Is that it?
I have no idea. I made this character.
That's fine. I'll just call her by her first name, Mahani. That's easier. So Mahani finds herself in in her, to her perspective, she just walked normally, and then someone yelled and she turned, and basically their bodies just started to fade out of existence, and she can sort of see like a heat wave around her. And directly across from her, on the other side of this door that you're near, is an Andorian man, and he is standing upright, where you could have sworn there was a man lying down that looked just like him a moment ago, and you see him. And yeah, so you have a companion now, Soth.
To add to the comedy, rather than Soft being upright, I imagine this will achieve nothing. Rather than Soft being upright, he's trying to like lie on the ground in the position where his body is, or he thinks it is. Like, can I go back in somehow?
That's funny. That's
no.
funny. Yeah, no, that doesn't. That unfortunately does not work.
Didn't think it would, but he's trying. Okay.
All right. All right.
What? Yeah. But yes, once that's failed, he'll start standing up.
Chortles, can you speak this time? I keep going back to you, even though Dax isn't here. So eventually, let's see. I had to look at something that someone posted. Okay. So I guess not. No, I can't hear you. Sorry. If there's anything that you want to do, you can type it though, if you can hear me, and then we'll just have you roll if you're on roll 20, which I see you're on roll 20. So I know you're specifically in the shuttle. So if you want to make any scans or land or anything like that, let me know. It'd be funny if this was a con episode and there was no con going on. Do I have to roll to land? Yes, you do. So that's going to be Control Con Difficulty 1. And I'm assuming you're landing right outside the hospital. Excuse me. I'm going to assume you're going to land successfully. Although, so far. I'm going to roll for Dax to see if she trips and falls on the way to running. Yep. No, I'm just kidding. What about a roll for hazard detection? I mean, it's a field. There's no hazards. Like the only hazard is inside the hospital. So unless you land on the roof, you should be fine. And I take that into account when I give you the control con roll of, like, if you're landing, in the midst of a field on fire, then I would take that into account. Yeah, I mean for the hospital. Yeah, like you're not landing on the hospital or right outside the emergency exit. You're in a field. So like I said, unless you're just the worst pilot ever, this should be a difficulty 1 roll. There are some people that can screw that up.
Said it now.
There are some people that will screw it up, but I'm hoping that you're not one of them. But while he's rolling that, go back into this infirmary. Is there anything else that you two want to do, or 3, including Tanner?
Yukino would like to look around, see if she can see anything out of the ordinary besides where they're at. Like, maybe where the device exploded, is there something over in that area? Is there something that's different that just seems completely off?
You see more of these kind of greenish hued bubbles that obviously came from that general area. Speaking of which, I will need you and Grimlow and Tanner. Well, Tanner's not so much, but he can if he wants to. I'm gonna need you to make a control con as you have to kind of also avoid these subspace bubbles.
Difficulty 2.
Um, difficulty 2, yeah.
You said control con.
Yep. So far, so good. I'm guessing since you're
Tanner's been here for a
driving,
while.
you can't roll, so I can roll for you if you like. Yukina. Oh, I guess you can. All right. So you um kind of see this haze, this greenish haze come towards you. You try to step out the way, but it kind of touches your shoulder um and starts to slowly like move towards you. So the way it moved initially was like it was just moving in a general direction away from the exploded bulkhead, but then once it touched you, it looked like it changed direction and actually started moving more towards you to kind of try to engulf you. So at the moment, I'm gonna need a control secure or fitness security to dislodge yourself from this subspace bubble.
Difficulty?
2.
Does that include me?
No, just the people that got got affected by it.
Oh, I didn't get it. Oh, cool.
No, you got 2 successes. Grimlow and Tanner got 2 successes. Ooh, so, well, I don't think I increased the complication range, so you're good on that. So yeah, you managed to remove your arm from this bubble with a lot of effort, I might add. Um, and when you do, the part of your arm that touched the bubble is flesh and blood.
That's weird. I touch it
Out of
because my arm has not been flesh and blood since I was a child.
out of character, just so I can understand the chain of events that just occurred. So, Eno was entirely covered by the bubble and stepped into this like parallel reality, encountered another bubble,
Mm-hmm.
and started manifesting back into reality, but body restored in a way in which it previously did not exist.
Well, no, but if I elaborated on exactly what happened, then it would give things away. So, but you're on the right track. But at halfway through, you kind of went a different way.
Yeah, I'm just saying for me it's weird because, like I said, my arms have not been actually flesh and blood since I was a child, so seeing this is kind of freaking around a little bit.
All right.
Do-do-do.
Sorry, I'm just reading some messages. All right. So,
So call it to the other. Careful of the bubbles, they change you when they touch you.
all right.
Mm.
Did
Well,
short?
then can I?
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's good.
Well, I was gonna change
I was gonna
location.
say. Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you do that, and then
No, no, no.
we'll go from
You
there.
you haven't said anything in forever. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, since there's an emergency going on, Cadet, Merc is he's security, but can he respond to it as well? I know it's a medical emergency, but
Respond to what?
emergency. He said it was emergency.
Oh,
Lockdown.
so
Can
he's
he respond to
basically
this?
you want him to be part of the security crew that cordons off the area.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Working the corridor,
Sure. Let me move you guys over. Bring out security cadet Merc and probably a half dozen other security officers. They began cordoning
Yeah, make
off the
sure one
area.
enters the area.
Yeah. So at this point, no other further people should accidentally walk into it, except for you all know that these things are moving, so kind of drifting. So staying in one area is never a good idea. So what do you guys out in the corridor want to do? That's reputation. I don't know. I guess did you not roll it last time or? Either way, what do y'all in the corridor want to do?
I'm pretty much doing taking scans of the the orbs out in the corridor.
What are you doing? Can you repeat that?
I'm gonna be taking scans of the orbs out in the corridor.
When you continue to scan, unless you actively modify the tricorder to detect what you're looking at, you won't detect them. But in order to do that, you have to know what they are and where they came from. So it's a catch-22. There are other ways around this situation.
Can I scan, because it looks like it came from the medical. Can I find out what machine is broken inside the medical facility?
Sure. You don't have to roll for that because as soon as you open the tricorder and scan the bulkhead, you can clearly see that it's been intersected by a treatment pod transported from the San Francisco hospital.
She just shakes her head. Who's the idiot that thought it'd be a good idea to pretty much transport it into a bulkhead?
They wanted to hook it up for you so you didn't have to.
I look at Runa and I say, I think the idea was to transport it inside the room. However, there were complications on the way, and this is where we are now.
Look, they succeeded in the roll, but they did get a complication, and so that was the complication. All right, so what are you guys doing in the corridor besides taking endless scans that will give you no further information?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I want to try to reach out with my mind to see if I can reach anyone.
You can reach the people that are in the corridor that are not in a subspace bubble, but when you try to reach into the atmosphere that is clearly disturbed, you don't detect anything. And on the inside, on the inside of the infirmary, you can detect people running around trying to do stuff, but you're not detecting anyone. You're not detecting a massive amount of pain. So as far as you know, there's no one fatally injured in there from the explosion, but you are detecting like caution and concern and nervousness and the things you would normally have during an emergency.
So I can't seem to reach the minds of any of these people that have collapsed. I'm not sure what's going on with that, and as Rianne's talking, she's getting more and more nervous and starting to hyperventilate a little bit.
Because it might be they're dead.
No, because other people are stressed, and that's the sort of flaw that I wrote in.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's see. Press the little. Oh.
Well, if one of the other conscious people.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I heard
Bloody hell,
someone.
that was loud.
That was really loud, though. Whoa. Okay, I'm turning you way down. Turn them way down.
Yep.
So
Look
how?
at that, so I can almost mute them.
Well, what was going on? Was it gilded or your computer or what?
It was probably gilded,
Yeah.
gilded, and Cord not playing nice.
So how'd you fix it? Because we might need it. We might need that information.
I ended up having to change devices to a different machine.
Yeah, I think that's when Durlock was on. It
Alright.
wouldn't let him talk, and we told him to get off his phone and get on the computer, but it didn't work. So yeah. All right. So Chortles, do you want to make a roll for Sevik to land the ship, the shuttle? Sorry. So we're only missing Dax, I think, at this point. Turn him down in your. Yeah, I turned him down. Um, you gonna roll for the shuttle pilot? I can move you guys over to the exterior. Um, I forgot what. Oh yeah, we'll say she ended up inside, but then security was like, "Turn around and go back." Okay, bye. Um, well now he's typing in, so does that mean we can't? He can't talk again? Um, either way, while he's figuring out that, what do you guys? Whoa,
Doesn't have to roll stuff on it.
still really loud. So
If
all I heard was have to roll stuff on it. I didn't hear anything before that. What was that?
he's saying he can't get to the section of the sheet that has rolls. If you look at the
Hold
very
on,
top
I'll
of your sheet,
just do it. I think I can do it. Yeah. All right. There you go. And then while he's rolling, if you guys wanna in the corridor wanna figure out what you guys want to do next, and same for the ones in the infirmary. If you wanna figure out if there's any other information that you wanna import. Oh wow. So you guys are up to what? I gotta scroll up. Actually, I wrote it down. Well, it's probably changed since then. 5, 6, 7. So you're at 7 momentum. So yep, you land the shuttle perfectly in the field. You're landing on a baby carriage. No, I'm just kidding. You land completely fine with no issues, and yeah. So the ensign, that's the assistant training instructor, is like, look, we can't go in there. Obviously, security and medical staff are gonna have, be in a tizzy. They're gonna have their hands full. We just need to stay out here, and yeah, you don't want to go in there. You there, Chortles? Volume must be acting up again. All right, heading into corridor, unless there's something specific that the
Sorry.
infirmary people.
Ensign, do we not have a first aid kits within the shuttle?
He looks at cadet. We have first aid kits, but as you, as you can see, there's a lot. He kind of gestures to the hospital. There's security running in and out. There's people setting up holographic cordon signs. There's engineers trying to repair things. He's like, they don't need any pilots in there. It's a hospital. They have doctors. So I've got to run for like 10 minutes. If you guys want to take a break, or discuss what you want to do, then I will come back in about 10 minutes.
Well, Yokino will talk to the others that are within it. I think our best bet, oddly enough, maybe to go towards where all this happened. I'm not sure about going away from it, but maybe if we can stop it from continuing, it might give whoever's out there a better chance of saving us.
I don't understand what you mean by stopping it.
Until we see it, we won't know. I don't know what we can interact with from in here.
It seems like we can only interact with the things inside the bubble. If we get near the edge of the bubbles, you saw what happened to your arm.
Yeah, I
It'd be
did see what happened to my arm. But if we do nothing and stand here with our thumbs up our asses the whole time, it's not going to do anybody good. We should at least be trying to figure something out on our end too. If they can't even get in here to do anything on their end, which I'm assuming they can't because of what happened to us, then we have to at least try in an attempt to.
Well, I guess the question is, whenever he comes back, the other cadet that disappeared in the hallway, do we all of a sudden see that person?
Previous descriptions, it seems not. The wall is. Whenever the ghost people
No.
have been talking, Soth's always been separated from the rest of you, and so I'm imagining Mahani would be as well.
Okay.
But I would also take that whatever's going on here still needs some type of power to keep it going.
Out of character, it probably caused power or needed power to start, but it might not need power to sustain.
But if it's expanding, it still needs power to expand.
Well, maybe this is a vagary in the description, but from my understanding, it's not expanding, it's just drifting about, maintaining the same size.
Karava, she'll turn to Z. Is Z still there?
Welcome back.
Yeah, oh yeah. Is Z did he go into the force field? Because I remember he escaped the event.
We are basically all of us were standing outside at the moment. We're trying to figure out an idea or a plan or something.
Yeah, Karava.
I have the feeling that if I go inside now, I'll probably be dead the next session because I think, Velik has done way too many, stupid shit. So, yeah.
Karava will turn to Velik though. She'll say, you've had some experience with this event. Do you have any ideas about how we can sort it out? I got no idea. I'm not a science. I'm more engineering and security. Person.
Lieutenant Rona turns around, says, "Well, if we can shut this down slowly, it may slow it down."
Can
machine.
you elaborate? Shut what down?
The machine, what's in the medical wing. If we can try and get that shut down, which I think is the cause of it.
Isn't the entire area filled with these bubbles?
Yes, that's the problem.
Out of character, is the machine still running? I thought because it intersected a bulkhead, it's very much non-operational.
We don't
I think
know.
it's running. It's running damaged.
We have not been able to determine or identify that at this point.
Yeah. So we don't know if it's still on. But Lieutenant Runa thinks it may be on.
Okay.
What if?
Unless
here's an idea.
Yeah.
What if we transport everything from that room somewhere in space?
Aren't there people in that room? I don't think they do very well in space.
Yeah, he just said, why don't we just teleport everybody into space and kill them, essentially.
Pardon me, what?
Are there people? I thought the
Yeah.
three who were there who are basically in the bubbles now.
Our bodies are still there. That's why, like, Tanner's body was still there whenever he was in the field as well.
Out into space, you would essentially make it impossible for our characters to return.
But
Plus, I doubt you'd be able to get a transporter lock on him anyway, because that was the issue with trying to transport
another
Tanner
issue.
out of the field as well.
I scanned them, and they're still their physical bodies are still very much alive. They're just in a coma, and that doesn't make people safe in outer space.
Well, Velik wouldn't laugh.
This isn't my
did.
field, but I did learn that. Are you quite all right, sir? Do you need counseling?
No, Vulcans don't need counseling, thanks.
I've heard quite the opposite.
I was going to say demonstrably false.
Kraven's gonna back up Velik because he's his friend. I've never heard any conclusive evidence about people can survive in space. Never heard any conclusive evidence against it.
I look back at Karav and I say, much appreciated, but I do not think that was a good idea. I have some issues running in my head at the moment, and I'm not thinking clearly.
I can help you with that.
Yes, I'm sure you can.
Meanwhile, in unconscious land, Soth, who can now see Mahani and say, oh, it's an actual person that I can now deal with, he will sort of turn to this woman who's just appeared and climb up from where he was trying to get into his own body and say, right, well, at least I'm not alone in this strange para-reality. That, I suppose, is one good sign. How are you? How are you feeling? How did you stumble in here? Smiles at her in a slightly sort of grin through it kind of way.
I was standing here and things exploded and then I was here.
Yes, you weren't here for the initial explosion. I would have realized.
Yes, I was.
Stop. Mahani just walked into the field.
And when this exploded in the medical bay, yeah, my character was in the medical room at the time.
I'm not speaking to you, Kanye Snowball.
Oh.
I'm speaking to Mahani Uki. Who does not appear to be answering. Okay.
No, he's typing. He said he's not in a bubble. I don't know which cadet it was that fell into a bubble at the beginning of this one out in the hallway.
It's the one with the face of Sandra Bullock, I swear.
Yeah, that was Mahani. I thought it was. Because I came down the corridor and got warned.
Right.
But then Mahani came down the corridor right after and did not get warned. In time.
Well, I tried.
He's typing. He's typing. He's going into a bubble.
You are in a bubble. You're not in the same bubble.
Am I in a bubble too?
Not you.
No, I'm talking to Mahani, sorry.
Was it covert? When you're not actively broadcasting, can you broadcast because you're rebroadcasting everyone?
Oh, sorry.
Alright, so, what's the plan?
Who was trying to speak to me?
That was Soth. He was asking how Mahani is are you okay? How did you end up here? And he's got a slightly sort of grin and smile through it bluster to him. He is very much non-mood.
With my Vasoid ability, who is Soft? And how do I feel about where I am in this bubble? Like, what am I sensing?
It's probably a GM thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, I can tell you the answer as far as Soth is concerned, if you can feel Soth, but I don't know if that will work in subspace monarchy.
I don't know.
Okay, we can just wait for the GM.
It doesn't work through subspace. I know that.
I just want to know if I can sense anything within the bubble.
So I look back at Truna and Korava and Corvinus, I believe, is also there. And I'll say, we should probably leave the area as the security teams are coming in. I don't think we can do anything at the moment. I don't think we have anything to work with. It would be dangerous to stay, that's for sure.
Out of character. And 5 cadets died that day.
I think it's especially dangerous in your agitated mental state, sir.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I raise an eyebrow.
You just told me that you're in an altered mental state.
Yes, but we are dealing with an issue right now, of course. And this issue is more permanent. It's more...
So
it's happening quickly.
Space.
Yeah, I kind of think you're some sort of homicidal maniac.
Noted. And I look at the others. Should we leave? Should we stay? What do you think?
What happened?
I'm back.
basically, I looked at the people standing outside of the room right now, and I told them that we should probably leave. The security teams are coming in. It's not that we can do anything at the moment. I don't see any way to help. And the bubbles are moving around the area, so it's probably safer for us to leave.
Okay, so Valak is advocating to the others to vacate the premises.
Pretty much. Yep.
All right.
Well, that is a better idea than your last idea, sir.
All right. So I'm guessing. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, at this time, would a Sevix combat have a channel to Velik?
Yeah, sure. There's no communications interference.
Okay, at that point, Velik's combat here activates, and if he picks up, then the voice he overheard is, "This is Kinetic Sevix. May I ask you what is here happening in your vicinity?"
We have an emergency, Cadet Civic. We are dealing with what appear to be subspace bubbles that are engulfing the area. There are security teams coming in, as far as I've heard, and we have about 3 or 4 people who are stuck inside these bubbles, or sucked in, or whatever you want to call it. And we are, at the moment, trying to find ways to help them, but I have no idea if that's going to work.
Subspace bubbles. Have you not... have you heard of any sort of subspace-related experiments taking place in the hospital?
Not to my knowledge, no, I have not heard of such. But it happened because of a transporter malfunction. A while ago, some beds were transported to the medical wing, and something went wrong, and it caused an explosion, and this created the subspace bubbles.
In that case, Sevek would resort to his tricorder, pulling it out to attempt to scan in the direction of where he understands the Valak to be, in particular looking for any signs of the subspace bubble or any radiation coming from emanating from that point.
All right. When you pull out the tricorder to scan, it detects none of these bubbles that he mentions, but it does detect the what resulted in them, which was the explosion from an EPS conduit, as well as a couple of unconscious individuals.
Cadet, how my tricorder can find no sign of the subspace bubbles that you're describing. How is it they know that this is occurring?
Well, we're standing in front of them, and they are moving about.
So you can see.
If you would like to come in and see them, I'd not advise it, by the way.
Is the jam back yet?
Yep.
I'm back.
Oh, cool. I'm stuck in a bubble. Am I conscious?
Yeah. Well, you're. Like I said before, when you walked into the bubble, you saw the other individuals that are outside of it kind of fade away from view, and your consciousness, essentially, as a kind of like a out-of-body experience, watched as your physical body fell to the ground inside the bubble, and then also vanished from sight. But then when you look down, you can see another physical body, or at least as far as you can tell, as you're touching yourself, you can touch your arms and face and everything. Yeah, that's basically. So yeah, it's just you and Soth, the Andorian, who are able to communicate at this point.
So, with my Betazoid ability, am I able to detect whether the body that I'm in is the real physical body, or the body that I can see laying unconscious is the real physical body?
With your empathy, the only thing that you can detect is Soth, and some 3 individuals inside the infirmary, but you're not able to detect anything outside the bubble.
Am I able to communicate to the people in the infirmary that I'm okay?
Well, when you tap your comm badge, nothing happens, and when you kind of stand in front of the camera, at the door does not open.
I mean, with my Betazoid ability, can I project thoughts?
Let me see if there's anyone in there. I think you can do that with other telepaths or empaths, but I'm not sure if there are any inside there at the moment. Yeah, no, there is one. The chief medical officer is part Betazoid, so you could communicate with him.
I guess with his part Betazoid, he won't be able to fully hear what I say, but maybe just my emotion.
Are you full Betazoid?
Send like a peaceful or like a little distressed, but sorry, I believe I am, yes.
Okay, then yeah, you're able to send your thoughts to him. Kind of like how Deanna's mother was able to transmit her, her thoughts to Deanna Troy.
Yep. Okay, I'll do that and just let him know that I'm okay. I don't understand this realm that I'm in, and I can see my physical body, and I'm within a physical body of my own as well, the same body.
And just to clarify, the first physical body is faded from your view, so you can only see the one that you're in at the moment. But you did see another one. Yes.
Okay, I'll just report what I saw.
Okay. So he says back, okay, it's very difficult to move in here because of all the subspace eddies, but I am going to try to make my way to the door to kind of view for myself what you're saying. So I'm going to have to roll for the chief medical officer to see if Dr. Aro can get through with his low control and con score.
Who was I communicating to?
Dr. Aro, he is the chief medical officer of the infirmary.
Okay, and you're controlling that character.
Yep, and he is so Grimlow and Snowpaw and Tanner, you guys are having your conversation, and all of a sudden the doctor, the chief medical officer, appears in the same vicinity as you, and he looks around quickly, and you can see that he's yelling at someone, um, but then he stops yelling and turns to you and says, "They disappeared. What happened?" Whoops, moved the background on accident.
What do you mean?
I was I was talking to the Commodore and the nurse, and now I'm here, and they disappeared. What is going on?
You're in a subspace field with the rest of us.
Well, and he looks over past you at Tanner, and he says, "Tanner, you're somewhat coherent, maybe?"
I, um, I was teaching a class on inverted warfields.
So much for his assistance. Well, the thing we need to do is figure out how to get his body into the what's it called? The treatment pod, the scanning pod that we beamed here. Once we reverse the effects that he's undergoing, it should help us a lot better. But that's again a theory, and obviously with us here, we can't exactly interact with the physical world.
You've had subspace exposure. You have to be slowly recoupled to the normal space. It can't be done.
I would go over to the medical officer away from Tanner and say, if he was to expire, would that also be better for us?
I don't know what you mean.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one.
Well, I mean, he's not controlling the subspace field that we're in, so I don't see how.
Well, if it was tied basically to his body's energy, and if he dies, if he's no longer an energy source, then
He thinks for a moment. That's a theory. I don't know if we want to test that theory based on someone's life, but it's a possibility.
The problem I have with that theory is it could have the opposite effect and could go essentially send us to expand exponentially.
I need Grimlow.
I was not advocating for it. I was just asking if it was a possibility.
Yep. So I need Grimlow, Snowpaw, and Tanner to make another. I'll say insight con, since you guys are kind of like, now you have to kind of figure out how these things are moving. These subspace eddies that you can see are moving. So insight con to both avoid them and also figure out their kind of trajectory and their what they're doing. I'm going to roll for the doctor.
But by the way, GM, whilst you're rolling, the comment that the doctor made, which is we need to load him into the device
Why
that
did
is
you roll
being
twice?
to work out what's going on. I've been operating under the assumption, please correct me if I'm wrong, it seems I may be, that because it beamed here and manifested partly inside a bulkhead, it is wrecked beyond use. Is that an accurate assumption?
That would require either a momentum spend or a scan of the pod itself. And I thought I gave you the answer for that, but I might not have. I might have given you a more general answer, like, yeah, the pod caused the explosion. But yeah, you'll have to do a reason engineering scan for that.
Soth is in no position to do that.
All right, so did I say difficulty 2, right? Well, it's difficulty 2 either way. So you got a complication, but you do have 7 momentum. So if y'all want to spend 2 of those, we can get rid of Dr. Arrow's complication. Or if you just want to say screw it, he's an NPC, let him figure it out.
I kind of want to see what happens because I have a theory. So.
Okay. If everyone's good with that.
Yeah.
Let it ride.
All right. So just to let you know, though, you guys failed, so it's not going to be much better for you. So as you guys are kind of trying to navigate through these bubbles, which are very close together, at this point, you could tell that they're coming obviously from the EPS conduit, but the closer to the bulkhead you are, the closer they are together. So where you are, in the middle of the room, there's probably like a foot, maybe a foot and a half between each bubble. So you're kind of having to slither through. What happens to the doctor is he gets completely engulfed in one, and then you see him just like he's frozen, and then you start to see him fade from view. And you no longer see him. What happens to you is a bubble. Looks like it's starting to engulf you, both of you as well. So I'm going to need. Did Tanner roll? Yeah, Tanner rolled.
Yeah.
So Tanner, you notice that one comes towards you and begins like kind of rubbing up against your face. So yeah, I'm going to need a fitness con roll for you guys to yank yourselves out of these bubbles. The difficulty is 3.
I would like to buy an extra die.
All right, with momentum, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same.
Okay, 5 momentum. Oof, I accidentally almost typed 65 momentum. Oh, wow.
Why is it not working? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oof, that's not a success, is it?
Well, ooh.
That first one, my Grimlow die is.
None of them are successes. And there's a complication. So I'm guessing you want to get rid of that complication, right, Yukina?
Yukina is a success.
Well, difficulty 3?
This roll?
Really? With the red?
Difficulty 3.
Get rid of the complication, you gotta succeed.
No, difficulty 3.
If you guys are willing to, yeah.
All right, so let's see. Going down to 3 momentum. You fail to remove yourself from the both of you, Yukina and Grimlow, fail to remove yourself from the bubble. Merc, the bubble passes over you, engulfs you like normal, and then just kind of keeps on going past you as if you're not really an issue.
Wait, didn't you say it was a difficulty 2? Didn't Yukina pass?
I said difficulty 3.
Oh, I heard 2.
I think people were talking over me. That's probably why.
Guys.
I have 3 too.
Struggling with this bubble, I'm just like, look, we're not going to make it if we don't do something, and this is only getting worse.
Give me 1 second.
Standing around isn't helping us.
All right, so you all take, or the two of you take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of damage.
God damn.
I am unconscious. We took 4 stress from the explosion.
I am not unconscious, but I am not doing well.
Let's go back to the corridor. Tanner, you're always
Basically-
unconscious.
Verena is suggesting that we turn off the machine that's in the bulkhead.
The machine has been off the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, wasn't it damaged by the explosion?
Nobody has scanned it or made any visible, observations. Basically, as far as you know, part of this device, part of this treatment pod, materialized within an EPS conduit, which sparked something, and then exploded a bright light, and then all of this stuff started happening. As far as the treatment pod itself, you have no idea what the condition is. Especially the people that are outside, the people that are, well, number one, the people that are in the corridor, but number two, the people that are in the infirmary but are in another subspace realm, none of you have made any effort to see what was going on with that pod.
Dude, that was what I suggested.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
everybody was like, no, we like without it. I was like,
When was it? Because I was probably having dinner at the time. Off.
Well, Corvinus is
Can
still
I
outside.
scan?
Yeah, go ahead
Can
and
I
make a
scan
scan.
the machine?
Reason science.
Because I did.
Or no, reason engineering. Difficulty 1.
I would like to assist.
All right.
While all this is going on, Sevik is informing instructor. I've just gotten word there that there are subspace bubbles in the vicinity of that explosion.
I'm using a momentum for a dice.
Okay.
For an extra dice.
Go ahead and take if you Mac, well, anyone could do this. If you're the one that's taking momentum, just go ahead and type it so I don't have to.
I will also assist.
As for, well, only one person can assist. As for Sevik, the assistant or ensign, his name, he actually has a name, believe it or not, if I can find it.
When you find it.
Yeah, really.
Yes, I'm informing.
Ensign Zito.
Sevik is also informing him. In addition, we have not received any word that the first response in teams are either equipped for dealing with subspace bubbles or that they've been able to extract any wounded.
So as you're telling Ensign Zito this, around you, the engineering and security crews have already moved in. A few medical staff have moved in to the hospital to kind of ascertain the situation and all of that stuff. But now, because at first they just thought it was a local contained explosion that or they didn't even know it was an explosion. They knew that something malfunctioned and they're going in to fix it. But now you start to hear almost like air raid sirens and alarms and red alert and you hear announcements from all of the loudspeakers on the buildings that I'm gonna now say that are there, basically saying all personnel and students remove yourself away from the Academy Hospital and go to emergency evacuation areas immediately. And the ensign says, well, I guess that takes care of our decision making. Unless you want to try to go in and help your friends, but I don't suggest it, especially since security is cordoning off the area.
Sorry, we will need to, before evacuating, we will have to ascertain the status of anyone unaccounted for.
Ensign Zito says, well, I'm assuming the instructors and security staff are going to do that once we get to the meetup spots, the evacuation meetup spots.
Nevertheless, Sevek is reaching out on comms. Cadet Velik, are you able to respond to this?
So far, yes.
Yes. What? I'm requesting a status update. I've just heard that Academy administration is ordering everyone out of the vicinity of this hospital.
That is correct.
We've been ordered to emergency evacuation. Where are you at this time?
We are still in the area outside of the medical wing.
You've been ordered since we've been ordered to evacuate. Is there any? Are you aware of any cadets who are unable to evacuate at this time?
Velik will look around, and I assume everyone here is in good shape, able to be evacuated.
Besides the 2 unconscious people, yeah. I mean, they could be beamed out,
Yeah, of course.
as far as you know.
Yes.
Their bodies.
I'll answer Sevik, and I'll say the bodies of the fallen cadets could be beamed out. However, this whole thing started because of a transporter malfunction, so I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
I will recommend that you depart. I will recommend that you. Sorry, I will recommend that you carry them out if possible. If not, I can come to retrieve them or bring a shuttle into your proximity.
Bad idea.
And if the ensign protests, I would tell him as from what I understand we have wounded in there. Who are unable to evacuate themselves.
Oh, and by the way, to clarify an earlier statement, so transporting their bodies from the location, when I said that, I meant you can target lock them with the transporter and essentially beam their bodies, but just like with Tanner, you don't know what that's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you did know what it was going to do with Tanner.
And basically, Runa would say even removing their bodies from that would be a bad idea because we don't know the consequences of their actions.
Yes.
Just to say we would end up like them as well.
And it seems like their minds aren't in their bodies right now.
Especially with the green shimmering, floating about their bodies.
Which is also another danger if we are trying to recover their bodies, or at least get to their bodies. That is.
I don't think we should move them either. I agree with Runa here.
Sounds sensible. Yes. I will answer Sevik. It is probably not going to happen. It's a safer bet to keep their bodies at the moment. Keep them there.
And not just because she came from shimmering.
Understood. In that case, will you be evacuating the area as well?
Well, there is one thing that our lieutenant here wants to try out, to maybe scan the malfunction that happened, the area of the malfunction. There is the console probably, or the computer. I'm not exactly sure what's. But we might get more results that way, and maybe try and shut this whole thing down.
So, Runa, you are looking at your tricorder, and it tells you that although a part of, probably about a fourth of the pod is intersecting with the EPS conduit, which is still sparking and throwing off plasma flames and things like that, the pod is, been made of sturdier stuff, and it is, as long as it's removed from the bulkhead and connected correctly, it will still function.
Can somebody turn off that conduit?
I will go ahead and say that with a momentum spend, instead of having you guys roll. Did you write? No, I'll do it. Instead of having you guys roll for it, because I don't think we have any engineers at the moment, I can just say that an engineer NPC turns it off and deactivates the conduit so that it's not a live wire hanging down over the treatment pod.
Yep. Okay.
Carl could turn it off.
Okay. So that's gonna be let's see. It's definitely gonna be engineering. I'm gonna say control engineering difficulty 2. Um, Now, are you going in sick bay to do it, or are you doing it from a console outside?
I just from a console.
Ooh, sorry, you got all staticky. What
It
was that?
glitched out.
Damn it.
Yeah, I hear you now. What was that?
You're glitching.
Yeah, you're glitching really bad. Roboting or whatever it's called.
What? Mind if I do it?
Can you repeat that?
I said control engineering difficulty 2, and if you go in sick bay, it'll be difficulty 1, but the complication range will be way higher because there's chance of you burning yourself. So you can either do it from the console
Okay, so it's
outside
gonna go.
or in engineering. Or in sick bay, sorry.
Console outside.
Okay, so difficulty 2.
I'll try to help if that's fine.
That's fine. You can assist. Just one assist, though.
Deal.
Yeah, the other engineers are working on, the plasma explosions and all this other kind of stuff that's around the area.
Got it.
All right, so we just need one more success. All right, so you have got three momentum now. So yeah, you deactivate the busted EPS conduit. It stops sparking. It stops adding fuel to the fire, so to speak. You still have the issue of like debris and the subspace bubbles or I'm calling them that for shorthand. They're not actually that, but and stuff like that to navigate. But as far as the actual thing that causes the explosion, and of course you'll still have to remove the pod from the bulkhead, which may require a transporter unless you have a lot of really strong people. But yeah.
If I was overhearing you, Savik, is your friend near a transporter?
Question: is this one of the? This is like the type. What is it?
Type 11
6 through 11 type shuttle, I imagine.
I think if I remember correctly, the transporter because it's the one Data was flying, it had a transporter in the back. I think that's how Worf and Data, they either transported him off or transported onto his shuttle I don't know. I don't remember. We'll just say for the sake of everything that there is a transporter.
Movie you don't like?
Well, I don't mind it. It's definitely better than some, but yeah, just.
But from what I'm hearing, this means that the shuttlecraft Sevik would have been piloting has a transporter.
Yeah, and so it'll be difficulty 2 because 3. So it'll be difficulty 3 because of the interference, but also because you're transporting something out of a wall and then transporting it just a few feet away. So it's not like you're bringing it back to the transporter pad. So difficulty 3 for site-to-site transport.
Okay. Yes, yes, cadet. I'm near a shuttle with a functional transporter.
We need a site-to-site transport. Just to be moved like a couple of feet.
Let me see what the ensign's engineering skill.
Does the ensign instructor have anything to interject when I receive this request?
Not really. He's down for helping. He just doesn't want you to go in there and get in the same condition they are. So the good news is he has a good control. His engineering's 1, so total that's 13. So do you want him to assist or do you want him to make the roll? The shuttle will also assist.
Let's see, that's control, was it?
Control engineering.
For the love of God, spend momentum if you can.
We still have 2 momentum left, right?
3.
Yep.
3.
3, yep.
Oh, 3, okay. Yeah, I don't suppose that like the fact that I'm using the the shuttles the fact that I'm using the shuttles transporter, that wouldn't really apply a small craft focus, would it?
Yeah, I would say that's fine. I'm gonna roll for the
Oh,
shuttle. All right, the shuttle got one, and
oh.
do you want him to roll the assist or the main roll?
His total is a 13, so I'm gonna say he can roll the main roll, and
All
I'll
right.
assist.
He's gonna use small craft focus as well as
Control
survival.
engineering.
Yep, control engineering. All right, so we just need you to roll, and you don't even have to roll if you don't want to, because he's already got the success needed.
I'll see what momentum comes of it.
Or complication. Oh, okay. So yeah,
A complication on transporting that thing again, it would be so cursed.
yeah. Um,
Yeah. Sevik just calls over, calls back to confirm that the transport was successful. I mean, call back to Velik, that is. Or whoever he was last speaking to.
Very well. And I guess at this point, I would have basically put everyone in the same channel so that they can hear and respond.
Yep.
So
Transport is complete. Can you confirm that it was successful?
No, we're out in the hallway. It's inside the med bay.
Hello.
Complication range? Got it.
Hmm.
there we go.
Can I give you 2 threat?
Yeah.
Hello.
Get it sorted. I'll
Hey.
get logic going. We bring down our logic upstairs. I'll get it going. Okay. I'll get everything cleaned while you're out.
three momentum.
I mean,
I,
it's not going to work either way.
I won't spend it because I'll
Yeah,
let
same here.
somebody else. I'll let one of the cadets use it.
Yeah, I thought I
I'll
abandoned.
spend it, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought he wasn't. Thought he already left, but I'll. Yeah.
Sorry I'm late, having issues with Gilded. Ah.
Your little transporter mishap has spiraled massively out of control.
Yes, yes, it has. Hmm.
Five cadets are currently on the edge of death.
Oh shit.
So yeah, the NPCs in the infirmary sees a transporter effect and then take over the treatment pod and then move it just a few feet over, kind of not so still close enough to where it's gonna be affected by the bulkhead, but basically enough out of the way to where you Velik if you don't want to. I'm definitely encouraging you not to. So is all right, fair enough. So Runa, are you the only one that's gonna do it? Karava can't. Karava can if since Velik doesn't want to. Um, I'm increasing it to 2 because if you get caught, you're probably going to the brig. Oh, he actually did it. He actually did it. Uh, well, I'm not even considering Dax's, like, he's going to the brig. But what about Karava and Runa? Are you guys spending the 2 momentum? Okay. And Karava? Okay. Sorry, what was that? Yeah, you spend 2 momentum to get rid of the complication, and you're really muffled, so I don't know what you. I don't. It sounds like you're way too close to the mic or something. All right, so I'll go ahead and put you guys to 0 momentum. Velik, you and Runa, I need you both to make fit